John, thanks for joining us today. Could you start, please, by telling everyone who you are and where you work?
My name is John Poole. I'm the Vice President of Worldwide Channels and Alliances at QUMU Corporation based in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
And what does QUMU do?
QUMU manufactures a software product that helps large enterprises solve their video problem, and meaning that increasingly large enterprises are using more and more video. It needs to be stored, needs to be brought into a system, needs to be protected, indexed, needs to be distributed. So all that functionality around broadcasting or recording video inside of a large corporate enterprise is really where my company's focused.
Where does the end user computing space fit in that? You got challenges. It's easy to get to someone in the next office, but getting out to the edges of any enterprise network can be challenging.
So when we are helping companies solve this problem, we're trying to identify the universe of employees and kind of where they'll be consuming the video from. And the VDI environment is a critically strategic, important space for us. We know that there are large volumes of these types of end users out there that need to be on the receiving end of meaningful streamed video, especially when it's coming from leaders within their company.
How does an offering like IGEL's work in conjunction with what you guys are doing?
The EUC community. In other words, users who are working within a thin client environment usually don't experience very good streamed video. And as companies increasingly use more and more of it, those users in that universe end up becoming disadvantaged in terms of the things that they can learn about what's going on in the company. And oftentimes these employees have to physically get up and move to another place in order for them to consume the information that's trying to be streamed to them, to most other users in other places where they are in the company.
It's not just thin clients, I presume. There's a lot of legacy gear out there.
Oh, it's the gamut. It's basically ingesting and providing streamed video out to mobile endpoints, to thin clients, to browsers on desktop platforms, video conferencing systems, digital signage when you're walking down to the cafeteria and you can see the streamed town hall of the CEO. Those are the typical type of use cases.
And so how does IGEL's offering help you solve the problem of getting video, which sucks a lot of bandwidth, obviously? How does it help you solve that problem?
So let me tell you a quick story about a mutual customer we've had. So we have a customer that did have a rather large population of thin clients, and they were also entertaining what we were offering them in terms of streaming and recording. We identified right away that a significant amount of their population would be at a disadvantage. They were very concerned about productivity and about having people not either get the information or having to physically displace them to another place. In order to get that information, we've come up with a solution that integrates the IGEL endpoint with the QUMU solution, being able to redirect video directly to the thin client and doing it over a CDN. And so now that customer that had these challenges where they had a disadvantaged population of users is now just as enabled as anyone else in the company using any other end device to be able to consume the streamed video. So the integration that we have with IGEL is probably one of the best that we have in terms of coming right out of the box and being able to be plugged right in and seeing immediate benefit to the end customer. And that's exactly what we had with the client that was a mutual client of both of ours.
I'm guessing that the IGEL solution, you kind of inferred this, but I'm guessing that it is natively able to take what you send it and deliver that robustly. Is that accurate? That's
accurate. So there are a couple of things like, part of our application involves redirection, right? We also have the player, right, which basically renders the video at the end. These are needed functionality in order to get the solution to work. And as I said earlier, the IGEL solution basically provides this capability immediately out of the box with native integration right into our platform. So if there are clients out there that are using IGEL thin clients and they have a need to consume live video, we already have a solution that we've tested and proven and have a live customer that's actually realizing the benefits of those today.
And this IGEL solution can work kind of on any kind of network with any kind of whatever's at the far end of where you're going. It can deliver that?
Yes. So the other part of it too is the inclusion of a content delivery network, right? Even in a non-VDI environment, making sure that consuming video doesn't take down an entire network with every person who is subscribing to a stream. That plays a significant role in terms of minimizing the effect to an IP network in order to render that video out to the client, as opposed to being forced down that ICA channel where the typical user gets their desktop image.
So obviously, this is a new, I think not obviously, it's a new relationship relatively with you and IGEL, but the future is big because, as we were discussing, there's going to be more and more video being used corporately. There's no question about that. People are going to be able to access it and need to access it more, and it's got to be able to be delivered robustly to the most remote user in the most remote location. Do you see this partnership between you and IGEL as something that's just starting to take flight, perhaps?
Absolutely. Enabling the infrastructure to deliver the content, right, is a critical thing that today we're starting to hear more and more about. Can the thin client provide a better experience for video streaming? I think as basically people who own these infrastructures look at how they can get more functionality and more performance out of them, you're going to see them becoming video consuming engines for the people that are using these devices. So today it's the town hall, but tomorrow it might be a product announcement. It might be video on demand, watching the latest product release, or watching interviews with potential new hire candidates. So there's a variety of different use cases that I think will be able to be delivered in an end-using computing environment that I think today people don't even think that solution exists. So we're probably ahead of the market with the capabilities we have, and it's becoming an awareness to letting the market know that a solution does exist, and it's really one that's very elegantly put together between IGEL and QUMU.
Is there anything that sticks out as a differentiator with IGEL, between IGEL and their competitors in the what we call the thin client space?
I think the single biggest benefit that IGEL brings to solving this problem with QUMU is that their solution works immediately right out of the box. Unlike other solutions in the market that are capable of working with us, they don't come out and easily plug and play, and that's a significant strategic advantage and differentiator for both companies.
We've talked to a lot of clients and a lot of people in the last couple of days, and they've consistently told us that what is needed in the EUC is security, cost effectiveness, and a great user experience. How does IGEL deliver that? Or do you see that? Do you see that IGEL delivers all three?
I think the value of the IGEL solution is that it provides security, it provides a great user experience, it is a cost-effective solution, but usually when you are delivering those touch points, sometimes there's a trade-off, especially when you're dealing with real-time applications like streaming video. So the benefit here is that there's no sacrifice, there's no trade-off with this solution. It's not like you give up any more cost or less security, or as a matter of fact, you actually get an improved user experience because now you're not giving up any of that by including the QUMU streaming aspect of that, because now you're adding something on that does not take away from anything else that the customer is currently realizing. It's a win-win-win for the customer at every level for those reasons.
John, thanks a lot for being with us today. That was terrific.
Great. Thanks for the time and thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks a lot.